Hey, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. We staying consistent on our upload schedule. But today we are going to be going over the best performance mode settings for low input and high FPS so you can become a Fortnite pro. Obviously, depending on your setup, you may want to make some adjustments to optimize your gameplay if you need to. Now, before we get into it, I should let you guys know that we are trying to hit 1 million subscribers by the end of 2021. So if you could take a quick moment to tap that red subscribe button, I really appreciate it so much, and you can always unsubscribe at any time. Drop a like if you enjoyed, dislike if you didn't, and comment down below. Let's get right into the video. Alright, so to start off our settings, you're going to always want to have your display set to full screen. This will give you the lowest input delay and slightly better performance, as Windows will be putting all of its resources into Fortnite. Moving on to resolution, this mostly comes down to preference. I prefer 1080p because it's my monitor's default, however lower resolution will result in higher FPS, and some pro players prefer the stretched image to play on. I would recommend not going anywhere lower than 1600 to avoid playing on a mobile device, unless you really need a few more frames. For frame rate limit, this depends on the setup you are using. If you are experiencing your game cutting up, I would highly recommend setting a frame limit that stays consistent throughout the match. I have a 165Hz monitor and a decent PC, so I've capped my frames at 180. Moving down to graphics quality, it's important to note that when performance mode is enabled, you are unable to adjust or change certain settings like shadows and effects. So to fix that, all you have to do is just go down to rendering mode and you can switch it back to the DirectX 11 or 12. Okay, so starting with view distance, it's very important to note that this setting will not change the distance players will appear at, so I recommend setting this on low to crank out a few more frames. Shadows, they can look nice, but they will definitely tank your FPS in game, so I'd recommend turning them off. If you really want shadows though, I'd say medium is the highest you should go with this setting. Anti-aliasing is similar to shadows that will just make your game look nicer while also depleting your PC's resources. So I'd recommend turning this off to maximize FPS. However, if you are bothered by unsmooth edges, you can turn it up until you like the way your game looks. Okay, so for textures, a lot of pros have set this to low. However, if you're having trouble with blurry buildings or trees, especially to the point if they are becoming blocks of Play-Doh, I would recommend putting your textures on medium or even high. I set mine to high because I just like how the game looks and it can still maintain a consistent FPS. For meshes, it's pretty straightforward. If you set this to low, your builds are going to appear like mobile builds, and on high will appear as bubble wrap builds. This is completely up to you, but most people, including myself, prefer this setting on high. Effects and post-processing should be on low and low. These will just eat up FPS, and unless you're recording cinematics in replay mode, I would not turn these settings up. Alright, let's move on to advanced graphics. Starting with VSync, obviously keep this off always. Motion blur should only be turned on in After Effects or Premiere, so I would recommend keeping it off. Show FPS as preference. You may just want to enable this to test out what settings are working for you and then turn it off, but that's a personal decision. And finally, of course, we want performance mode turned on. That's the point of the video. As I mentioned before, you may need to set this to one of the DirectX settings to adjust the earlier graphical settings and restart. So yeah, there you go. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know if you want to see more stuff like this in the future. Make sure to follow me on the socials, links in description. Thanks for watching, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one.